Hey, all Kate here from Emerald Minecart. Welcome back to our review, and today I'm reviewing VHS 85, the end of the little VHS reboot trilogy, I guess. It was started by VHS 95, then followed up with VHS 99, and then ended with VHS 85? I'll talk about it later. Yeah, anyways, the pros, the cons, and the mids. First off, the VHS aesthetic. Now, because this takes place half the 90s, and obviously VHS tech was still around in the 80s, yeah, the VHS aesthetic for this film and the segments, pretty good. And I'll actually talk about it again for another one of these segments, you'll see. Next up is music. Once again, the music is great, especially with the atmospheric music, but also the music that plays during the outro and credits. I love it. Like, sure, it's not like the crazy rock music that we hear in the other films, but it is a really good banger. Like, it's a nice pop. You can tell, like, it has the 80s vibe to it. I freaking love it. And like I think I've said this before, but I really do hope that the music in the VHS series does have like a form of physical release somewhere. Hopefully, please. But yeah, next up the effects. Once again, the practical effects for this is absolutely amazing. Especially, again, this is another thing I'll talk about in the other segment, which, speaking of segments, the first segment, Total Copy. This is actually the wraparound segment. And yeah, it follows scientists looking over, like, this mysterious alien creature that they named Rory. Also, the effects for Rory are a bit gross. Yeah, obviously they're gross, but the more, yeah, actually, the more I look at it, like, it gets less gross, especially considering what I would see in a other segment that I will get to. But yeah, also there's this guy, like the head doctor, he looks exactly like Germa, but when I did some research, Germa didn't star in this film, or at least this segment, so yeah, but the main doctor looks like Germa, and how the segment ends, like all the scientists who are around, they end up dying, and you think, oh, the alien's going to escape and cause havoc. But no, instead the alien has the bodies, like he moves around the bodies to this like workout video that he was watching because like the scientists were showing uh, Corey their culture by showing Corey the TV, which I mean it's a good way to show people different culture. So does that, and also again keep in mind the modern internet didn't really exist back in 1985. So yeah, honestly the ending is weirdly wholesome, surprisingly enough. So yeah. Next up is the No Wake segment. This is actually, I believe, the first time where we've gotten a segment that has a sequel in the same movie, and I'll get to it later. But yeah, No Wake takes place following seven friends who go out to this lake that has a no swimming sign. Now, usually when you see a lake that has a no swimming sign, chances are the water has something in it that is harmful to people, or something could be in said water that would probably kill people. But basically, what happens is they all get picked off one by one by a mysterious killer who is revealed in the sequel segment. Again, I will get to it. But yeah, it seems like, oh, they're dead. But here's the thing. Five of them, or technically four of them, come back to life. And it's revealed that the water that they sweat or that they happen to go in, yeah, it makes you immortal. And like the music's pretty good. The practical effects are freaking awesome, especially one chick who has like her bottom jaw is missing. And actually, I have to admit something, but watching this segment, I actually started to feel sick. And that's coming from someone who enjoys Mortal Kombat. Like it just, I don't know, it just really, just maybe it didn't really make me feel that great watching it. But honestly, No Wake is also a really good segment. And actually, we do get a hint about the water making things immortal. Like when the characters find the dead squirrel and they're like, "Hey, I found the dead squirrel." When they show the camera at the dead squirrel again, the squirrel's gone. So it's like a little hint. Ooh, there's something up with this water. Ooh. Yeah, hold on. Anyways, next segment is God of Death. This one takes place in Mexico and has a all Mexican cast, so they have to put subtitles on top so you can understand everything that's going on. So this seems to take place, yeah, obviously it takes place in Mexico, but it seems to take place during a conflict of sorts. Like there's helicopters flying around and there's like some earthquakes going on that might be being caused by bombs being dropped. I don't know. It just seemed like there was like some sort of conflict going on. And yeah, this one mostly follows a man who's a part of a film crew, and a rescue team. Yeah, they end up going deeper in the building, only to discover some sort of weird, mysterious shrine for, well, a god of death. And yeah, they all die one by one, and the female is the only one who is left as she is taken over by the god of death and, offers offers a man's heart to the god of death and herself. She also does this while being completely naked, so there's that. But yeah, honestly, I quite liked this segment. It was pretty cool. Again, honestly, the design for the God of Death, honestly, really freaking cool. I liked it. Next up is Techno God, or TKNOGD. So, yeah, it's so technically it's pronounced Techno Good. But yeah, the segment Techno God, this mostly like follows a woman who's like talking about like, oh, VR, it's the future. And she even refers to a technology like calling it the iPhones and not iPhone, but iPhones as in plural. Also, she says some pretty blasphemous, or she says some pretty blasphemous shit as well. Which look, I'm not extremely religious, but saying certain things about God does make me a bit uncomfortable because I see it as a form of bad luck. But that's all I'm gonna say about that because I don't want to talk about religion on my YouTube channel, please and thank you. But yeah, honestly, yeah, I quite like this segment, especially the virtual world gives off heavy Tron vibes, which, oh, side note, it's a real shame that that new Tron movie didn't perform so well. Oh well, but yeah, yeah, also the monster for this segment, the mentioned Techno God, honestly, really freaking cool. So yeah, also the Techno God does give me Mixes vibes, mostly because, well, just like Mixes, the Techno God is like this digital entity with like no legs that can like interact with you physically. And yeah, the main girl, like, she ends up getting like she tries to take off like this glove, but once she does, her hand, like her entire hand comes off. Then she gets her ass handed to her, like one of her legs is ripped off, then another one of her legs is flayed, and then when like it's all over, the cameraman goes over to her and lifts up her helmet, and we see that the helmet fused with her head, and the effects is amazing. And the funny thing is, like, the audience watching this, instead of like freaking out, they actually end up cheering. And like my only problem with this segment is like the lack of reactions coming from the audience watching all this, because you would think seeing a person's leg get ripped off would cause someone to, scream. I'm just saying personally for me, if I was in a crowd watching some weird VR show and suddenly someone's leg got ripped off in real life, yeah, I would probably scream. But yeah, this segment really freaking good. Next up is the segment Ambrosia or Ambrosia, however you say it. This is the sequel to the No Wake segment, where we discover that the killer is this 15-year-old girl who's a part of this family that has a tradition of just killing 7 people. Why do they do this? Well, they're not serving some sort of being with a higher power. So apparently they just do it because they can. So yeah. Well yeah. Uh the said girl in question ends up getting squirted with a water gun that was given to this kid by the people that she killed. And yeah, this segment gives us hints that it's a sequel to the No Wake segment. And yeah, honestly, I really like this segment as well, especially since it's a good way to end the No Wake segment. It's like because usually segments like this would end on a cliffhanger, but this time we actually get a follow up in a pretty decent, or not decent, like a pretty very good conclusion. So yeah, yeah. So basically, when she tries to shoot herself so she doesn't disgrace her family, she discovers that wait, I'm immortal now, and she gets taken in, basically becoming a disgrace to her family. And just the whole segment is just like the ending of the segment is a really satisfying end for the No Wake segment because the four survivors, like they got their justice, but I could probably imagine explaining to the relatives that you're now immortal. That's probably not going to be the easiest thing to explain to the family in the in-laws, but like a good conversation. And then finally, there is the Dream Kill segment. This is actually the kind of the gory. Yeah, this is definitely one of the goriest segments, and the main monster or villain of this segment is a genuinely disgusting person. Well, okay, we don't get to see that he's disgusting at first, but a little later in the segment, we get some information about him. And yeah, bit of a disgusting person, and this man ends up going after the people who are going after him legally because of the bad stuff that he did. But here's the thing. So the son of the murderer has this VHS recorder, and apparently it can record his dreams that are the murders of these people that happen like the footage was recorded 3 days before the murder, and yeah, honestly, this segment was really good. I quite liked it, and yeah, and also the music. Holy crap! Some of the music. Actually, before I touch on the music, the dreams that we get to see, their video quality is even lower in the music, specifically the atmospheric music that plays for it. Oh my gosh, it is suspenseful, and I like it. But yeah, now the cons. Surprise! I have no cons. Well, originally I did, but the con I had is not even a problem. I just moved it down to mids, which, now at mids. Why is it labeled A5? Okay, so how did this little reboot trilogy start off? It was VHS 95, VHS 99, then it was VHS 85. So, why did they not start off with VHS 85 then? That's the confusing thing. And again, I'm sure it's explained somewhere, but that was really the only problem that I had. But again, this problem is such a nothing burger that I just moved it to mids. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, I absolutely love this movie. In fact, this movie gets 7 out of 7 stars. And you know what that means? That's right. This movie gets an Emerald Seal of Approval. So yeah, I absolutely love this movie. Uh, Technogod and Dreamkill were my two favorite segments of this movie. And yeah, soon I'll be watching VHS Beyond and then that review, and I'll be done with the VHS series until I'm able to watch the first three movies. And obviously, I'm not going to be completely done with this series because obviously you're going to make more. So there's that. But yeah. Anyways, that was it for this review. Make sure you all subscribe and like for more, and I'll see you all later. Peace out, home guards, and goodbye!